guys, it's the Midwest IC Railfan 1000 here, bringing you with another model train video to my YouTube channel today. First off, you're probably wondering, this does not look like the layout. And you're right, because I am not in Illinois at the moment anymore. I'm actually down in eastern Georgia at the moment, spending a few months with my dad. So I am not around the layout at the moment, and I only run two of my engines from up there down here with me. But that's not why I'm making this video. I'm actually making this video because of what you're seeing in front of you. This is actually a train show haul. And yes, this is the first train show I've been to since pre-COVID. And that pre-COVID show was probably the Great Train Expo in Collinsville, Illinois, back in November of 2019. So this is the first train show I've been to since then. And whenever it comes to train shows, I'm very tempted to spend money, and I'm pretty sure I'm not the only guy to do that. So this train show haul is from the recent 32nd Annual Coastal Railbuffs train show. And Coastal Railbuffs is a local train club, model train club in the Savannah area. They're located at the Georgia State Railroad Museum. I filmed on their layout in the past. Every time, I think a couple times when I visited the museum itself, I filmed on the layout. It's a nice little layout. Fortunately, I talked to the officials at the train show. I talked to them about joining the club. However, they're not really having new members join at the moment because the layout is currently dismantled because the building it was housed in is leaking. So, and they're currently, I think, trying to restore the building. It's obviously located in the old Central Georgia shop building. So yeah, basically this is the lot I got from that train show, and I spent about $200 worth of all this stuff. It doesn't look like much, but trust me, it was quite a bit for each of the equipment that I got and acquired from this train show. So yeah, I know usually in my previous model train videos, I usually ramble quite a bit and it goes on for too long. I'm going to try my best to not talk about these trains for far too long like I have in the past. I'm going to try to keep it short and sweet, straight to the point, and keep you guys interested into the video. So yeah, without further ado, let's get started with the more smaller stuff into the bigger stuff. The bigger stuff being the locomotives. We're going to start off with the smaller stuff, I guess you say. So the first thing to start off on this haul, it's just nothing special, but it's something I got for these three things right here. I got for free from a vendor. He was like, "Hey, do you like reading and seeing pictures of model trains?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." And he just like, "Here you go." He just handed me these three old model railroad magazines. These are from Scale Rails. I don't know if this particular model railroad magazine is still around. Obviously, these are all from late 2003, so these are pretty old. So we have October, November, December. Obviously, this one, I have a piece of tape blocking off the name because it still has the original owner's name on it, so we're going to protect his privacy and I'm not going to leak it. But yeah, I mean, it's an interesting, I've already skimmed through these, so they're pretty cool, it gives you an interesting glimpse. Let's just quickly get these out of the way. Let's just take a look at this one, since I have the name covered up on this one. These are basically, it shows you a nice, view of how model railroading was like in the early 2000s for the roughest part. It's not a valuable booklet. It is a NMRA certified booklet, and you see the sponsors was Woodland Scenics, Lifelike Trains, and this was before, I think, this is like shortly before Lifelike got merged into Walthers, so maybe like a year or two prior. So we have Woodland Scenics, Lifelike Trains, Bachman, Atlas, and Overland Models, which is obviously the famous brass company, which I don't think is no longer around, but the hobby shop is. But I don't know if that's separate or not. And then you have the NMRA. So yeah, it's just an interesting little magazine. 3 issues, so nothing special there. Just figured I'd throw that in because, it's cool. So yeah, on to the next thing. Nothing special here, it's just 2 measly pieces of Bachman nickel silver 9-inch track. The only reason why I purchased this is I did bring one of my steel alloy power tracks or terminal tracks just to have a test track, and I wanted to get some nickel silver track just to test any trains. Obviously, in the apartment I live in, I do live in an apartment at the moment with my dad. I don't have enough space to make a layout or anything like that. Maybe a loop on the floor, but that's probably going to be a no-go. And so I just bought 2 of these pieces of nickel silver track at the train show. They were $4 each, so $8. I kind of wish I bought a third one, but I was like, you know, whatever, because I probably wouldn't be running much on it. There's just going to be a little tester track. Eventually, when I get back up to Illinois, where the layout is, I probably just use this as a test track for DCC stuff and DC stuff. If not, I'll probably just use this as, I don't know, probably display track on my train shelf. But yeah, that's about it. Also, nothing special from this Trainshow that I got is just these two things of Katy couplers. The only reason I got these in case is just because, just in case if I wanted to replace any couplers on any of the stuff that I have. So for like example, horn hook couplers, that's pretty much about it. So yeah, I got a good pair of number 5 old reliables, and then the number 158s. They're pretty much the same thing as the old reliables, except they just have the cat whiskers. So, but yeah, that's literally about it. I also picked up a couple of Athearn motors for parts, I guess. The first one I picked up was this one. Obviously, this was from a seller that was real specific into DCC and stuff. This is obviously a still in package, fresh new Athearn RTR motor. And also from another seller, there was actually another Athearn motor set with the flywheels. It doesn't have the hex drive little bearings in there. It just has the round ones for the old school drive shaft or drive link. The only reason why I purchased these is because, you know, I got Athearn locomotives, and in case I need to swap any motors out. In particular, the reason why I picked this one up, I originally picked it up for this reason before I found this one, so obviously there's a big price difference, but whatever. I wouldn't mind having an extra one of these in case I have a project in the future. But I picked this one up specifically for my Mopac SD45, which is a custom painted blue box engine I picked up from like a little estate sale in St. Louis back, I think, a year or two ago. So obviously it's got the old round motor that Athearn used to have back in the day. So I'm gonna replace it with this one because that motor is kind of junk. But yeah, that's really the only reason why I bought these motors, is that in case, well, I'm using this one for the Mopac, and the other one I'll keep it as a spare for any future project with an Athearn locomotive. Moving on to the rolling stock now, we're going to start off with the Caboose, the only Caboose I got at the train show. This is a AHM/Rocco. The reason why I'm saying Rocco, because I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but somewhere down there, it does say Rocco on the bottom of this. I don't know where it's at, but I remember seeing it on there somewhere. Let me turn this around. I was playing in the right spot. There it is, right there. Rocco, made in Austria. If it'll focus. But yeah, I just picked up this IC Caboose because I wanted an IC Caboose, and I managed. This is like one of the only few I saw, and this is the only one I saw the most interesting, even though it's old and it's an AHM. But it was like, whatever, I'll pick it up anyway. And I got this for $3, so it was kind of worth it. Especially for the conditions it's in. It's in okay condition. It's missing the antenna here. I'll eventually probably find a part for it and put that back on. And it's also missing a whole coupler back here. Like, there's no coupler box or anything. And also it has this weird long coupler here as well. Let me show you underneath it again. It has a different and slightly bigger coupler box than the KDs. Eventually, what I might do is I'll probably just redo this whole coupler box system in the future, and obviously put KDs on it, and then give it some 33-inch wheels, metal wheels, obviously, because it's a Caboose. And yeah, it doesn't need to be cleaned off. It's got some scuff marks and everything on it, like that little white mark right here. Also, a little bit something interesting about this Caboose is that the logo is not centered. They misprinted the logo, so I'm guessing that was a factory error. But then again, factory errors were more common back then because obviously this was an older and cheaper piece of rolling stock. So, but yeah, I figured I'd just pick it up anyway because I needed an IC Caboose since I'm starting to get more into the Illinois Central stuff. But yeah, that's about it for this car. Next up, we have this old Taiko Tank Car. Obviously, yes, it's a Taiko, but it's not one of the worst looking Taikos. It's actually a pretty decent car. And also, I picked this up for I think $5 at the train show, and I'm gonna be honest, there were several of these at the train show, but this one in particular, as you can tell, has knuckle couplers. Unfortunately, it's the Bachmann leaf spring couplers, so I'm eventually going to get swapped out with KDs. Only problem is somebody glued the coupler box together, so I might have to destroy the coupler box if I can't get that off. So that sucks. It's dirty, obviously. It's an old Taiko car. What do you expect? I'm gonna clean off with soapy hot water, obviously, and it's obviously gonna get KDs and 33-inch wheels because of the wheelbase for these type of tank cars. Also, another reason why I picked up this tanker and the next one I'm about to show you guys is that this is actually the first tanker I've gotten, and the next one. This one, the next tanker. These are first tankers I've gotten in a very long time. I think the last one I got was a Bachmann Silver Series. It was the Shell tanker, which came with the Bachmann spring coil couplers and the metal wheels, and that was probably back in the mid 2000s, and that was the last tank car I've ever gotten since then. So this is the first time I got in a tanker in a very long time for my layout, and yeah, that's pretty much it. This next tanker is a tanker I've been wanting for a while. I've been eyeing over this type of tanker. Yes, it is also a Taiko, but I've been wanting one of these for quite a while now. This is obviously the big 62-inch, I think the 62-inch, 62-foot, I think 62-foot, 3-dome tankers, the big giant tankers, the 6-axle ones. I tried to find pictures of these cars in real life, but I don't know if these things are prototypical. But regardless, I like the design that Taiko went for in this one. Obviously, it's the GATX Exxon Mobil gas. I think it's a gas or oil tanker. So I just picked up this one because I like the design for it. And yes, it's super dirty. I'm going to clean this off with hot soapy water as well. It's going to get metal wheels. Not sure what size. I think the 33-inch ones. And it's definitely going to get KDs. But I'm going to have to figure out how I'm going to mount KDs on this thing. Because I don't really like truck mount couplers. Matter of fact, I don't think anybody really likes them that much. But these are going to be hard and difficult to figure out how to do. There's not really any videos on how to do this. So I may do one if I can figure out how to do this without messing up like the height gauges and whatever. But we'll see. I don't know. The reason why I picked this one up is because I like the design of this car. And yeah, of course, it's no Taiko. But I've been wanting one of these cars for a while now. So yeah, that's another car to the tanker fleet. I forgot to mention as well, I picked up this car for about $8. But yeah, that's really about it. This car right here is a old, not necessarily old, but more newer, I guess, Roundhouse Icg Box Car. It's a 50-foot, obviously. This one already has KD couplers, but it has the classic, you know, Roundhouse plastic wheels and stuff, so eventually it's going to get metal wheels. This will probably be the last box car I'll get in a while because I have too many box cars already for the size of my layout. So, reason why I picked this one up because I wanted another Illinois Central box car. Obviously, this one's an ICG, but still kind of the same thing. And I just like the design of it. It was only 12 bucks, so I picked it up, and yeah, that's really about it for this car. This last piece of rolling stock right here is actually a die-cast flat car. This is a Gilbert Illinois Central flat car. I saw this from the same seller. I got the $20. Well, actually forgot to mention the after motor I got from the same seller as this that said $20 on it. That was actually for $10. It was half off, so I got that one for a good price. And the IC flat car. This one right here was I think listed. I think I got this one for $3. I'm not too sure, but it's a good deal for what it is. It's a heavy car, obviously because it's die-cast. And it does have knuckle couplers, but it's the Bachmann leaf spring, so eventually it's going to get KDs in the future, and it also needs metal wheels. But yeah, that's about it. It does roll good too. Obviously, I know for sure I'm going to put this in the front of my trains because this is a heavy die-cast car. And yeah. Now moving on to the locomotives. Obviously, we're going to start off with a Shell. Obviously, it's still in the package, so you can't really see it that well, but it's a Rail Power C30-7 Shell. I just picked it up because I thought it was interesting and I figured I'd get another early GE just to, I don't know, mess around with. This is obviously going to be a project shell. These Rail Power shells are meant to fit on Athearn chassis, so I got to find a U30C or U33C chassis to fit on this thing. Because I have this shell, I may use it for the fictional railroad project that me and a friend are doing. It's up to him. Obviously, it's a different variation. I know there's different kinds of variations. This one has, you can't see it because, like I said, it's going to stay in the plastic for a while. But if you look carefully, it's the nose-plated light. So obviously, BN had those variations, and I think what we did on the fictional railroad project is that we purchased some XBN C30-7s from NRE to run for coal service. I think that's the lore for these type of locomotives that me and my friend made up. I don't remember for sure. If not, maybe I just did for just then. But I don't know. I'm gonna talk to him about this, and he'll probably agree to this and stuff, and we'll probably work out with this. It's probably gonna be painted up into the fictional railroad colors. I'm not gonna, like I said, I'm not gonna reveal what the fictional railroad project is until some engine comes out for it. But that's really about it. And like I said, sorry for not being able to see the show good. I'm just keeping it in the package in case I want to start working on it. So yeah, that's about it. Here we have right in front of you is a old Athearn Blue Box SD9, and I'm gonna go ahead and say this. I have two other Blue Box units, but they're the newer kind. This is the older kind. This engine is just a dummy. It's obviously the Union Pacific SD9. The reason why I picked this up is that I am starting my own little fictional rail line slash or railroad slash leaser company. And obviously I've kind of hinted about it in the past with the CSX GB30M. I've patched over it temporary because I had nothing to do with it, and it was just sidelined for any future projects. So I just patched it with my own leasing company. And that's what this engine is going to be for. I've already came up with the paint scheme concept and everything. Still trying to figure out what the logo is going to be like. I was wanting to make it something like, I think, LTEX style. I think it's the company. But it hasn't really been working out, and I really do not want to try to do the HLCX slash FURX slash CIT style. Well, not CIT, just mainly HLCX style logo. Trying to do something fancy, and not something basic. But that's what this project is. That's what this engine's gonna be used. I actually have two of these on the roster. This one and another one. So we have two SD9s in total on the roster, and this one is obviously, it's not going to stay in the UP paint. It's going to get stripped down and then repainted into the paint scheme I have planned for it. Because I don't have the right paint stuff at the moment, I may eventually just patch it. I don't know how yet, but it's going to get patched for now until I can get like an airbrush and stuff to paint it up. But I don't know, we'll see. Like I said, this is a dummy. I was actually wanting to look for a powered one. On the Saturday of the event, I forgot to mention that the train show was a 2-day event. It was a weekend event. So the Saturday, this was the only one I found, and it was for 15 bucks. So I asked the lady at the vendor who had it, can I get it for 10, because I was looking for a power one, and this is the only one I found, and it was a dummy. So I asked maybe for 10 for it, and she said sure. So I picked it up for 10 bucks. Not bad. Obviously, this short line is not going to be a detailed heavy thing. It's more of I'm going the budget route for this one. The other fictional project me and my friend we're working on, we're kind of in between, like detailed, not so detailed. So we're in between on that. But yeah, this short line I'm working on myself is just going to be a budget style short line. We're not going to use anything too detailed, just cheap stuff, just for the heck of it. The next day I came back before I had to go to work, Sunday, I actually found two more of these SD9s in boxes. One of them was in a Bachmann Silver Series box, which was, I think, 15 bucks, but I think it was also a dummy because I don't know, I couldn't really tell because it was just as heavy as a powered unit, but the thing is, the trucks, the two outer trucks were both powered trucks, or both powered axles, and the inner truck was a dummy axle, so that was my only guess on saying it was probably a dummy. Then there was another one in an actual Blue box, and that one was actually powered, but it was like 30 or 35 bucks, and I was like, yeah, I don't want to pay for that much. And plus, they were all the same paint scheme, and I was wanting to just, in case I'm going to patch these, I want a different paint scheme, so that way it doesn't look too bland. But yeah, that's really about it for this engine. Let's move on to the next one. This engine right here is an engine I've been looking for quite some time now. It is also a Blue Box. It's an undecorated one. This is an SW1500. I've been looking for a switcher for my layout for the grain industry area I want to build for my layout. I'm wanting to get a switcher for it. I was obviously wanting to look for a paint scheme like CSX or something like that, but since I have an undecorated one, I figured maybe I'll figure out something for this one, since it'll be a good project engine to do so on. Then I had remembered that on me and my buddy's fictional railroad roster, we do have SW1500s, and I don't know if he's tweaked with the roster yet. I've asked him if he has. He hasn't gotten back to me yet, but if he hasn't removed the SW1500s on the roster, I'm most likely going to paint it up into that fictional railroad scheme. Like I said, I've said in the past, we've already had a paint scheme concept out for years now, and he already did one on I think Train Simulator or whatever the software he uses. I don't remember what software he uses to paint up the trains, but he pretty much showed me a concept for that, and I was like, yeah, let's do it. So eventually this is going to get painted up into the fictional rail scheme that me and my buddy are doing. Eventually it's going to it's probably going to have DCC and sound. It's going to need KD couplers, obviously. This is a brand new undecorated kit, kind of. It's new old stock, basically, so it doesn't have all the detailed parts on it. It's got handrails, and it probably has the horn hook couplers in the box still, so I'm probably not going to touch this engine until I get, like, the paints and stuff, and until I decide to, like, I don't know, maybe put DCC or something. For now, it's probably going to be sidelined until I actually get to it. But yeah, I finally got myself a switcher. Next up is also another undecorated blue box engine. This is I believe, I don't know, on the box, it was marked off. Like, you couldn't see it was blacked out, but it looked like it said GP50, but it looks like a GP40. But I'm not too sure because the GP40 and the GP50, obviously without the dynamic hatch, look very the same. So I'm going to say this is a GP40, and I'm hoping so, because if it is, I kind of have an idea on what project I'm going to do with it. I was thinking maybe an IC unit. I'm not too sure. My mind might change. I'm not too sure. I'm still figuring out what project I'm going to use this for. For guaranteed, as of now, I'm thinking about doing an IC GP40R. I think about doing the 3110. It's a unique IC unit. I guess I'll throw in a picture up here right now. That's basically what the real unit looks like. And I was thinking about just, I don't know, painting up in the IC and see where we go from there. It's also going to eventually get DCC sound. I'll probably detail this thing as well. Good project, good plans for this engine in the future. That's all I'm going to say. I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet. I think I'm most likely going to use this for an IC engine. I don't know yet. We'll find out. I forgot to also mention that this engine was, this engine was 20 bucks. From the seller I got the $10 motor from. It was right next to it, and I kept staring. I'm like, okay, I kept getting tempted, so I had to buy it. So I purchased it, and I liked it. So yeah. And if I haven't said it in the last one already, if not, I'll cut this out. The switcher was 25 bucks, so not a bad deal. Last but not least in our collection of locomotives, this is a Proto 2000, a Lifelike Proto 2000, matter of fact. GP9. This is a B&O, the passenger variant of the GP9. I picked this up because I saw it while I was at the train show, and it didn't come to the box, unfortunately, but it looked really nice for it, and it looked like it was in perfect condition. And I talked to the guy who originally had it. He said he had gotten it from a guy from a lot in the past, and he had never tested this engine. So he said for a fact, he said he knew that this engine had DCC. That's another thing. This engine has DCC. He also mentioned to me it may or may not have sound. I did eventually come back the next day. I was talking about him on Saturday. I came back Sunday before I went to work, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to purchase this engine because I was tempted, and I was really thinking about purchasing it the day before. So I came back. It was still there. I purchased it. He gave me 50 bucks for it. I think originally it was maybe 60 or 70 bucks for it. I don't remember. But he sold it to me for 50, so it was a good deal. They had a test track there at the train show. I was concerned for a bit at first because it didn't want to run, and eventually it ended up running. It probably needed to be ran in because it hasn't been test ran before, and I don't think it has been ran in quite some time. So yeah, obviously I picked this up because I liked it and stuff. It was interesting to me, and maybe, eventually I also like the B&O, so I figured why not. And eventually maybe this engine's gonna have sound in it. It's got DCC in it already. Like I said, it's gonna get sound and whatnot. I don't know what sound decoder yet. Probably soundtracks. I don't know. Also, a thing I noticed while we were test running it is that I think the back truck might be out of gauge because it kept derailing. So I think one of the axles is not engaged. So I'll have to check that out if I ever take this engine apart. Just like the other couple engines, so probably be sidelined for now because I don't really have the stuff. I have my HO scale work stuff with me. I don't have a bench, however, to work on it on. So yeah, it's just gonna be, I don't know what I'm gonna do with this thing. So it's just gonna be sitting around for a bit. But But yeah, eventually I want to get a B&O E unit and have this guy trailing behind it and have myself a passenger train if I can ever find one. Don't know yet, but that's just a concept, so we'll see. I also forgot to mention both this engine, the switcher, and the GP40, they all run. So yeah, I got all runners. This guy obviously needs some work, but yeah, they all run. Obviously, the SD9 doesn't because it's a dummy, but yeah. That's all I would say. We're pretty much finished with this lot video now. So, on to the outro. Well, that's pretty much it for the 32nd Annual Coastal Railbuffs Train Show haul. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Give it a like, whatever, and subscribe if you want to see more model train content on my channel. I apologize if this video seemed kind of scuffed for being unscripted. I don't usually script my videos, specifically these type. I try my best, so... And hopefully I kept this video short and sweet and straight to the point, so that way I didn't like chase anybody off or making this video too long. But yeah, that's about it for today's video. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.